Attention please. Panel discussion. Art as a multi-industry catalyst. Startups leading the way. Mike Rio Roda, founder, creative VC. Bekzod Fayozov, VFX supervisor, United South. Nisaa Jetha, global impact strategist. Muborakxon Yusupova, project manager, Grace Project. Moderator, Birce Batman, entrepreneurship, cooperation and technology transfer department. Bilken Cyberpark.
So welcome again. Dear participants, welcome to our panel where we will explore the transformative impact of the creative economy on entrepreneurship ecosystem with inspiring speakers from diverse fields. Today we are joined by leading figures from various countries and industries who are actively supporting the creative economy. It's a great honor to be here with such esteemed individuals, and I'm thrilled to moderate this session. So, my name is Birce Batman, and I'm working as entrepreneurship, cooperation, and technology transfer expert at Bilken Cyberpark. Bilken Cyberpark is Turkey's first private university-based technopark. As one of Turkey's leading technopark, we have been forefront of entrepreneurship activities in the field of creative industries. To give an example, over past 2 years, we have conducted an in-depth analysis of the entrepreneurship ecosystem and sector needs within the creative industries. Based on our findings, we have launched a digital cultural entrepreneurship incubation center program called Cyberculture. And after that, building on the knowledge and experience gained through this program, we have expanded our efforts internationally. And now we are currently running a project on creative industries both in Turkey and Uzbekistan, supported by the Ministry of Culture of Turkey. And also we selected Uzbekistan as a pilot region to further support the creative economy. So without further, I would like to begin by introducing our distinguished speakers. Mike, Bekzod, Munbaro, Nisaa, welcome again. And could you please introduce yourself? Maybe we can start with you, Mubaro.
Hi everyone. Hi. Hi again. My name is Mubora. I am project manager at Grace Projects. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you all. And yes, we would like to thank Uzbekistan Art and Culture Development Foundation for organizing such an amazing event and giving us an opportunity to present you our newest application today. So which we will speak later on. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for being here. I'm very honored. I am a global impact strategist, and that means I do impact strategy for brands, government advisory, and corporates. I've worked as a lawyer, and I'm currently working with large brands and music corporates. And I will pass it on.
Hey everyone, my name is Bekzod. I'm Bekzod Fayozov. I'm the visual effects supervisor at the company called United South. What I do, I basically supervise the visual effects for the movies and the animation production. So yeah, we'll speak about it a little bit later.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mike Pia Roda. I'm an investor and general partner for Social Study Ventures. We invest at the intersection of consumer media and technology. Outside of that, I'm also an advisor with the Creative VC that helps creative founders and creative startups find a footing within the startup world. So trying to connect and bridge finance with technology. That's me.
So nice to meeting with you. Also, Actually, today we're going to be discussing about the creative economy. And as we all know, the creative economy is often defined as multidisciplinary and broad field, but its exact definition and boundaries are not clearly established yet. So, all of our speakers, based on your experiences, what are the elements and sectors do you see as a central of creative economy? And also, I would like to ask all of you, what key areas should we focus on to better understand and support the creative economy in sustainable way?
Well, I guess I will start. So I feel like community engagement should be one of the focal points of creative economy, because people are the main drivers of economy alongside with the ideas that they bring. So it should come from people, for people. We should foster national identity, making everyone feel seen and included. So yeah, I would say cultural engagement.
Yeah, I would say that following on that, aside from the music industry, TV industry, the regulars, I do also feel that it's important to focus on other cultural industries like visual arts, digital advertising, and that will also have ramifications on the regulatory aspect, because there'll be very specific protections on how we define this going forward. And I've seen that as a lawyer, some industries don't get the grant and or other funding. I really agree with what you said about community. We were part of a music campaign, and we started something called the B-side, where we would highlight only local artists, and then we would bid, at a conference like this where they could profile someone who was in the local area, and how else does someone like that get their next shot. So I think community engagement and really narrative storytelling around that is key. And then making sure the kind of crossover industries, creative lawyers, people who are working in the industry really get subsumed into this, because I think that is where you have a lot of regulatory deadlock and the industry can't move forward.
So I totally agree with our experts.
Yeah.
So the creative industry, well, before I was invited to this event, I never thought about what is the difference between the creative industry and the traditional, the creative economy and the traditional economy that we used to study. And so while searching for the logical answer to this question, I made a conclusion that the creative industry is this kind of mixture of art, technology, and the storytelling. And the medias which are involved in it is the film production, the music, the gaming, and the content creation. So all of these are kind of mixed. And so you say, and what? So what does that make the difference between the traditional economy? In my opinion, the fact that there is one common thing between all this stuff is that they had the storytelling in core. And in the creative economy, people used to not to just produce something, but they are working on the ideas. And usually when you are, well, let's take an example. So I won't be sure, is it okay if I will just give the broader explanation for that? So for example, let's take from my perspective, I work in the film industry, and we used to watch movies. So can you raise your hands if you like watching movies? So, okay, cool. So movie lovers. So, and when we watch the movie, at the end we have the end credits, right? So, and the first thing we read is, so the film written and directed by, I don't know, the Michael Bay. And then there are thousands and thousands of people who worked on this movie. So Michael Bay could be considered as a creator in the economy industry, in the creative industry, and there are a lot of executors. So, and as executors, so what we are dealing with is that we are not just producing some stuff, but we need to visualize the idea of a certain creator, which makes it really tricky and abstract. So we're always playing the guessing game, where we need to pick the right moment and the right version which director likes. So that makes it different from the other industries, so that's why the creative economy should be considered as a separate type of economy. So we're all gathered here to discuss it in details.
Thank you for that. And I kind of want to jump in on that storytelling perspective. I'm going to give a bit of a story here. But before that, I have to say, this was a great question because I think it is very important to find the definition of what the creative economy really is, since we're all here today. What I wanted, actually before this, I want to know if there's any startups in the crowd or anything like that. Okay, at least one, which is good. So I don't know if this is a known fact. Since I am in VC, I have to pitch investors every single time I raise up a fund, similar to you. And when I was raising my fund back in 2019, I would go to fund of funds, institutional capital, sovereign wealth funds, and tell them that I was investing in the creative economy. But whenever I would mention that, they automatically assumed I was investing in the creator economy, which is frustrating because it's such a small subsection of the creative economy. And outside of that, whenever I would say that I was interested in investing in content, they would automatically assume it was blogs, but that isn't the case either. So for the uninitiated, it could be very frustrating to kind of understand what encompasses the creative economy. And one great resource, I don't know if Laura is here right now, was Upstart Collab. They defined certain industry codes that would fall within this creative economy subset. And for us, with Social Study Ventures, the fund that I run, we look at creativity along with culture as a primary economic element of the creative economy. So that would include fashion, media, music, immersive technologies, culinary arts, and a bunch of others. And from our investment perspective, our investment strategy as well, we also include creative founders within that section. And that second half of your question was key focus areas to better understand and support the creative economy.
The second part was, what are the key areas should we focus to better understand and support the creative economy?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is simple. It's the founders that we need to focus in on, the creative economy founders. After doing some research, what we realized is that 85% of creative startups and creative founders had a better chance of survival over the first year versus 79% of non-creatives. And after 5 years, we determined it was 46% success rate for those creative founders versus just 38%, which is astronomical from a risk management perspective. And I think the conclusion that we found was creatives are generally more adaptable to find that product market fit after a certain amount of time. But unfortunately, 75% still struggle to fundraise. And I think our focus here is finding ways for them to either be mentored or educated or find ways to raise funding alongside someone such as myself or someone as other consultants to find ways to, how do I put it, find funding. I think, sorry. Yeah, I think ultimately it's really just the stigma of being in the creative economy that makes it tough to fundraise.
So all, thank you for the definition of creative economy. So maybe like we have explored and broad field the definition and what's the scope. I kind of want to deep dive into some specific questions. And Mike, as we talk about the market potential and then the investment opportunities, I would like to ask you the question of, like, based on your maybe experiences, the intersection of culture and technology can be seen as the key enabler for across industries. So in this context, how do you view the growing market potential of the creative industries?
So the market potential of creative industries. That's easy. We're very, very bullish on the entire subset of the creative economy. The sectors that we focus in on, consumer, media, technology, they're massive. So the creative economy, is, as we've known, is 2.7 trillion in size. And if you look at the overlap with media and entertainment is 2.3 trillion. And another section that we invest in is consumer, and from a broad spectrum of that, we look at 53 trillion in market size. So looking at the overlap and looking at the potential technology evolution and business model evolution, that adds up to about 10.7 trillion in investable opportunities globally and about 1.6 trillion in the US alone. So it's a large market.
So it's actually a huge market that we already don't know. So, and I also wanted to ask you, how is the growth being accelerated by the convergence of technology and culture, and how does it contribute to cross-sector transformation?
Great question. We view culture as a key driver of growth. It allows, we spoke about this a bit earlier, culture allows adoption of new technology. Without culture, technology just sits there. Tastemakers, cultural leaders, lifestyle influencers, we all need them. And we need that human aspect to understand what technology can do for us. Great technology alone is not enough to win the hearts and minds of people. There needs to be some sort of humanity in it. And if we take an example as, let's say, Spotify and Netflix, right? They changed the game when it came to media and entertainment. We find studios struggling to keep up with technology, and it's the reason why Bob Iger considers this era as an era of anxiety. And then we look at, I guess, the business model that became culturally relevant with Spotify and Netflix. Like, who actually knew about subscription models before they came about, right? And I guess marrying culture and technology is just a way to understand the human connection with like technology.
So all, thank you for your contributions. As we mentioned the definition and then market potential, Nisaa, I would like to ask you more like business and sustainable way about creative economy. So how do you see AI acting the catalyst for transformation across multiple industries, particularly in the creative sector? And how is this driving sustainability and ESG integration?
Yeah, great question. So I'm going to use a word that I started to coin a lot called impact elitism. So within the impact investing space, a lot of people get capital for, being a high growth, high impact investment. Usually they have great environmental, social governance and metrics. And generally what I have been seeing operating across large funds to small startups is that, we have something called like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Like if you're a startup, you're literally just trying to keep the lights on, pay your staff, make sure that your shareholders are still cool. And actually, due to, I work across a portfolio within, Madrid to the US to some emerging markets, and the regulation is constantly changing. And you need, finances to hire someone like me in order to do all of the regulatory reporting. Or either you're going to get these scary fines, or you won't ever sit at the table with someone like you who would say, our books are clean, we're in compliance, and actually we have this super exciting investment that's come to light. So I do think, to your point, AI has really democratized access for this. That there are startups that can now come to the table, can put something called ESG integration, where they are embedding environmental, social governance metrics into their portfolio. You are able to put together an impact statement. You're able to create a business plan as a founder. So I do appreciate that AI will highly disrupt jobs, but I do think that a lot of the mundane, kind of more segued silos of the industry will kind of fall down. And another speaker mentioned that soft skills will be key. And so I think like what an opportunity to celebrate, more of the fun stuff of being at a job, So I do think it will drive sustainable growth if it's used in a way. I do think the regulation around the way we do this will, create a floodgate on who and how has access to it. But what's so fascinating is we're sitting here, we all can use our phones, we all can use WhatsApp, we are witnessing a flat structure shift. So I am all about AI for good, within the sustainability space, because I've just seen different founders and different deal flow come to the table because of this innovation. And great question, thank you.
You're welcome. Actually, you mentioned about WhatsApp and other stuff and tools that we use, but I think could you illustrate how maybe like AI serves as a tool for like more deeply, maybe in sustainable way, to inclusive in creative economy and its potential for future developments? Maybe you just wanted to make some focused information.
Sorry, the last part was and for future
developments.
Yeah, well, I do think that, having worked in emerging markets, I do definitely see the ability to connect. I mean, again, how technology, like we see this within the M-Pesa model. For instance, we went from no phones to mobile banking, and you see this level of like leapfrogging technology. And you do also see this now within, I've used this word, climate leapfrogging, right? Like you are learning from the emerging markets because they have gotten a grasp on tech, and they are teaching kind of the other parts of the markets on how we integrate further. So I do think AI is being hugely disruptive, and it's really like pushed industries forward on the sustainability side and also on access.
So thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And I just wanted to focus some on the technology based on the creative economy. So Mubarak, how can AR technology be utilized to increase access to cultural experiences and heritage, making them more engaging and accessible to the wider audience?
Thank you for your question. I'd like to answer that on the example of our app that we have developed. So basically we use the AR technology. It's the implementation, merging of the real world with the digital one to recreate 3D models and bring 2D images, static images to life. So basically any digital data can be used to place on top of existing real world images, objects, basically everything that exists to recreate it. And it can be used in very different spheres, including culture and education. So if we talk about Uzbekistan, around 36 million people who live there, I think that around 43.2% of them are economically active and use money, our national currency sum, on a daily basis. So basically everybody knows what Uzbek banknotes look like, but not everybody knows what cultural heritage is depicted on them. So I think I'd like to present a video about our application and demonstrate it, how that works. Could you please put the video on that we have prepared? So basically you use your device as a scanner. Everybody who has a smartphone now has access to cultural education on daily objects like money. Everybody uses money. So you can get the 3D image of cultural heritage depicted on it and then see the story behind it, get access to education and history. We feel that it will engage wider audience because everybody has a smartphone now. Everybody has access to this technology, and also younger generations could get education in a more engaging and fun way. So yeah, this was the answer for your first question.
So thank you so much, and it's kind of, it's the engaging and the fun way to maybe like get to know about more historical ways of the countries and then the world. And I also wanted to ask you that, we talk about the AR platform. So how can AR scanning platforms enhance the collaboration across the different industries? And could you share maybe like some videos or other experience, examples where AR has successfully bridged gaps in the sector or catalyzed the innovation in which that we unexpected way?
Yes, great. Thank you. Augmented reality technology has a lot of possible implementations. For example, for artists, museums, galleries, people could make their exhibitions more engaging. Visitors of galleries and museums will actually remember something after seeing objects and like almost feeling them. So yeah, that would be one of the possible implementations. And other disciplines where this could be used include architecture and real estate. So decision making would be now more effective among clients, architects, contractors, builders. So basically everybody can now see 3D models of future projects displayed on their smartphones, and they can actually see how this building works before it is being built. So yeah, we feel that would enhance decision making and increase collaboration between different various specialists, because now everybody could have a more clear vision and understanding of what is actually going on. So, and probably some other implementations could include retail sale, for example. If I have a furniture factory and I would like to bring more customers, potential customers could actually see how this specific furniture would fit into their specific space, or any other art object, everything. So yeah, we feel that would bridge the gap between online shopping and real-world shopping, and just make a more pleasant experience for everyone: users, producers, manufacturers. Yes.
And then maybe we can say that you like make a more effective business flow about this too. Like someone's think about some ideas, and then you just show them in a like 3D way.
Yes,
Oh, that's
exactly.
so nice. So Bekzod, that we came to the last questions. How do you see AI and emerging technologies reshaping the creative industries, such as visual content creation or CGI?
Well, thank you for the question. So let me start first with the common opinion about the AI, that people think that AI is a threat to the creativity. So I want to ask you guys, so how many of you currently using AI like in daily basis, like the ChatGPT or, okay, so the ChatGPT is something which is already replacing the Google searches, right? Because it's easier to gather the information using the ChatGPT, because it's kind of giving more structure, better structure to your search. And how many of you use the AI for the digital content creation, something like Midjourney, Stable Diffusion? Okay, so you know that these tools are really powerful, right? And a lot of people think that the AI is actually not something good, that eventually it will take over the world, and specifically it strikes at the creative industry because it generates something which the artists spend hours to create. But in my opinion, this is not the replacement, but this is more of an enhancement for the artists. And in today's industry, so like there are a lot of parts, a lot of works in my job where we are doing a lot of repetitive stuff. So, and the AI is taking this job from us, so which gives us more time to do the more creative decision making, to work more on the artistic part of the work. And so from that perspective, I think like if we will use the AI correctly, so it will enhance our capabilities. And like looking at the past, back in the days, we used to have only the 2D animation, right? So the Lion King, the Disney productions, so then DreamWorks. So every major studio was producing the 2D animations. And back at the time, so if you wanted to tell your stories with the animation and you wanted to become an animator, there was a must-have skill required, which was the drawing skill. But over the time, as soon as the 3D animation came out, so this requirement disappeared. So because, so from that time, you don't have to know how to draw to be able to tell your story using the animation. So you can become an animator without knowing how to draw. But did it make the industry easier to create the professional output? I don't think so. Like the 3D animation and the 2D animation are both complicated works, but it kind of widens the gate of entrance to the people who want to work in this industry. I think the AI is the kind of next step of this evolution. So it will make easier for more people to come to the industry of storytelling, where a lot of different people could tell their stories. So we will be able to watch or listen to diverse stories, because now more people will be able to create something with more easier way. However, there is the other side of the coin, which AI gives us, and the other side is that when you have a cheat code, so definitely you're passing the mission really easily, and it does not benefit on your skill at all. So which means, like, if you will not be paying attention on the fundamentals and the foundations of anything you do while implementing the AI will start driving you. So the key point so this is our challenge, so to keep AI under control in terms of like a tool, not something. This is kind of really how can I put that? Really enthusiastic intern that needs a guidance. So if you look at that way, so this is a really great tool, but this is not something magical that should drive your creativity. So that way, I think the AI will give a lot of benefits into the development of the creative industry.
Thank you. I would also wanted to ask you about how creative professionals and business effectively adapt to these advancements to maybe enhance their collaboration between technology and the artists, technologists. What are the opportunities? You mentioned some of them, but what are the maybe the main opportunities you can give an advisement? And do you see for the future of this intersection?
Yes, of course. Well, okay, so I could give a lot of examples, but they will be really specific from my career or from the things that I do, and probably it will be really boring for you. But just the generic image generation process is something which gives you, which saves you a lot of time. For example, if I want to create some concept art for the movie, it would take hours for me to gather references and doing my research. And now with the use of AI, it's getting easier for me to gather all the information that I need and to make some concepts really quickly, the prompt-based concepts, which I can use not as a final product, but as a source of inspiration to move on. And also, in the film industry, you usually communicate with the director or the supervisors who are dealing with the creatives. And at that point of view, so you are saving a lot of time while collaborating with them, because when they're telling you their ideas, so you definitely could easily to come up with the certain visual that then will be implemented into the film itself. And speaking of the collaboration of the art and technology, this is also, I think, really crucial and really important thing in general for the development of the creative economy. Because if we look back at the history, there were two legends, so the John Lasseter and Ed Catmull. So anyone know these names, the John Lasseter and Ed Catmull? Only one guy? Okay, so these two legends are the co-founders of a Pixar studio. And Ed Catmull is the co-founder of the CGI, and their collaboration created the field and the job that I love and I work in. So they are defined the current state of the CGI, I would say. So their collaboration on the Pixar defined the new industry standards for the animation, which are still used till today. So it was in the late 80s. So, and Ed Catmull was the technician guy, the genius engineer, and the John Lasseter was the animator and the greatest storyteller. So their collaboration gave us new industry standards. So that's why I think, as you asked, the collaboration of arts and technology will definitely benefit in the development of the creative economy.
So thank you for all, for your insightful contributions. We have so good defined the creative industries in the subsectors about it. So we have seen and also how art can indeed serve as a catalyst to multiple industries. As we wrap up, I may open the floor for questions. If some audience have one or two questions we can get, or not, we can say thank you. Is there any questions that you might want to ask to our speakers? I think we defined everything so well. So thank you again, and if you all have any questions, you can find our speakers at the conference hall. Thank you so much. It was a delightful panel. So nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you all, dear participants.